road to the village felt older than the map that guided us there. Cracked asphalt twisted through endless hills beneath a sky the color of ash, while dead grass bent violently against the cold autumn wind. By the time our vehicle passed the final road sign, half rusted and barely readable, the world behind us already felt impossibly far away. No one spoke much during the drive. Even the cameraman sitting beside me had lowered his equipment onto his lap, staring silently through the fogged window, as if the landscape itself demanded respect. The village ahead carried a reputation that had spread far beyond the borders of the province. For years, whispers surrounding the Palu family had circulated through television broadcasts, police archives, and frightened conversations held behind closed doors. Some called it a criminal case. Others called it something far darker. The locals avoided speaking the family's name directly. In nearby towns, old shopkeepers lowered their voices whenever the story surfaced, crossing themselves or muttering prayers beneath their breath. Children were warned not to wander near the abandoned property after sunset. Taxi drivers refused nighttime trips to the area entirely. At first I dismissed those stories as the natural evolution of fear, the way human beings transform tragedy into folklore. But that illusion began to collapse the moment we arrived. The house stood alone at the edge of the village like a forgotten wound. Its windows were blackened with dirt from years of neglect. The roof sagged inward under the weight of countless winters, while dead vines strangled the exterior walls, like veins wrapping around a corpse. Even from a distance, the structure radiated a suffocating stillness that made the air feel unnaturally dense. One of the production assistants muttered quietly beside me, "Why does it feel like nobody's here? But someone's watching us." No one answered him, because we all felt it. The village itself seemed frozen in time. Curtains shifted behind dusty windows as residents observed us from inside their homes, vanishing whenever we looked directly toward them. A dog barked somewhere in the distance before suddenly falling silent. The wind carried the faint scent of damp soil and burning wood smoke through the empty streets. And beneath all of it lingered something else, something impossible to explain. Fear. Eddie. Not the sudden fear triggered by danger. Something older. Something patient. We met our local contact near the village square shortly before sunset. His name was Hassan, a retired schoolteacher whose tired eyes carried the exhaustion of someone who had spent years trying to forget what he knew. At first he refused to approach the house. Instead, he remained beside the old fountain in the center of the square, chain-smoking cigarettes with trembling fingers while avoiding eye contact with our crew. "You people came too late," he finally said. The sentence hung in the cold air. "What do you mean?" I asked. Hassan glanced toward the distant silhouette of the house. That place already swallowed everyone who mattered. For several moments, only the wind answered. Then he began speaking, not like a man telling a story, but like a survivor confessing to something buried alive inside his memory. According to Hassan, the family had once appeared ordinary from the outside. They attended weddings, shared meals with neighbors, celebrated holidays like everyone else. But slowly, over the years, strange patterns began emerging behind closed doors. Family members vanished without explanation. Arguments erupted in the middle of the night. Children stopped attending school, and whenever outsiders asked questions, the answers changed each time. Some villagers believed violence poisoned the household. Others believed the family lived under the psychological control of a single dominant figure, whose influence spread through the home like infection. People spoke of manipulation, fear, and emotional terror so intense that even adults became obedient shadows of themselves. But the darkest rumors involved the basement. Hassan paused when he mentioned it. For the first time since meeting him, his voice began shaking visibly. "They heard noises from down there at night," he whispered. "What kind of noises?" He swallowed hard. "Crying, scratching, praying." The wind intensified suddenly, whistling through the empty alleyways around us. One of the audio technicians nervously adjusted his headphones. Another crew member laughed awkwardly, trying to kill the tension, but nobody truly relaxed. Because somewhere deep inside, we all sense the same terrible possibility. Some places absorb suffering, and if enough pain festers inside walls long enough, the walls begin remembering.